Picture this. It's a normal weekday morning. Your alarm goes off, and before your feet even touch the floor, your hand reaches for your phone. Not to check messages, not to check news, but to check your bank balance. Just quickly, just to make sure everything is okay. The number hasn't changed much since yesterday, nothing is wrong, and yet there's a slight tightness in your chest that doesn't fully go away. You get ready for work, move through your routine, maybe grab coffee, maybe sit in traffic or log into your laptop, but somewhere in the background of your mind, a quiet calculation is always running. Not loud enough to stop your day, but constant enough that you feel it. That quiet calculation is becoming one of the defining emotional patterns of modern life. Financial anxiety isn't something that appears only during crises anymore. It's not reserved for moments when money runs out or emergencies hit. It has become something else entirely, a background feeling, a constant low-level awareness that money, stability, and the future are more uncertain than they used to be. And what makes this shift so interesting is that many of the people feeling this anxiety are not financially irresponsible. They have jobs, they pay their bills, some even have savings. On paper, their lives look stable, but internally, the feeling doesn't match the numbers. That disconnect between financial reality and emotional experience is what defines this new era of money. A few decades ago, financial anxiety was often tied to clear events: losing a job, facing a large debt, going through a recession. Outside of those moments, life felt relatively predictable. People could map out their future with a reasonable level of confidence. Income would grow slowly, expenses would remain manageable, stability was not guaranteed, but it felt achievable. Today, that sense of predictability has been replaced with something more fluid. Costs change faster than expected. Opportunities appear and disappear quickly. Entire industries evolve within a few years. Technology reshapes the value of skills almost overnight. And inside that environment, the human brain does something very natural. It stays alert. It keeps scanning for potential risk. It keeps asking the same quiet question: am I really safe? The problem is that the brain was designed to handle short bursts of uncertainty, not a constant stream of it. When uncertainty becomes continuous, anxiety becomes continuous, and that's exactly what is happening in the modern financial world. Even small decisions start carrying more emotional weight. Buying groceries feels slightly different when prices keep rising. Planning a vacation feels more complicated when the future feels less predictable. Even spending money on something enjoyable can trigger a subtle sense of guilt, as if every dollar has to justify itself against an uncertain future. Over time, this changes how people relate to money. It stops being just a tool for living and starts becoming something else, a source of ongoing evaluation. Every decision is filtered through a quiet internal dialogue. Should I spend this? Should I save more? What if something happens later? And because the modern economy moves so quickly, that dialogue never fully turns off. At the same time, the outside world sends completely different signals. Social media shows people upgrading their lifestyles, traveling frequently, building businesses, talking about financial wins. News headlines highlight record markets, booming industries, and massive opportunities created by new technologies. The world appears full of growth and possibility, yet internally many individuals feel cautious, uncertain, even slightly behind. That contrast creates a strange psychological tension. The environment says expansion, the mind feels contraction. Around this point, it's worth pausing for a second. If you're watching this and these thoughts feel familiar, you're on Andrew Finance, a space where we explore the deeper psychology behind money, modern stress, and the systems shaping everyday financial life. If you enjoy conversations that go beyond simple advice, take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who has felt this quiet financial pressure, and subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. Because once you zoom out further, financial anxiety starts to look less like a personal issue and more like a structural shift. The modern economy has become faster, more complex, and more interconnected than ever before. Global events influence local prices. Technology changes job markets rapidly. New opportunities emerge, but they often require new skills, new thinking, and new levels of adaptability. The system is evolving faster than human psychology can comfortably adjust, and when people feel that mismatch, they interpret it as personal insecurity, but often it's something else. It's the natural response of the human mind trying to operate in an environment that no longer follows the predictable patterns it once did. This is why financial anxiety feels so widespread. It's not limited to a specific income group. People earning moderate incomes feel it. People earning high incomes feel it. Even individuals who are objectively doing well financially sometimes experience it. Because the feeling is not just about how much money you have, it's about how certain the future feels. And certainty has quietly become one of the rarest forms of wealth in the modern world. But here's where the deeper realization begins to form. If the environment has changed, then the way people think about financial stability must also change. In a world where uncertainty is constant, the goal is no longer to eliminate anxiety completely. That may not be realistic. The goal becomes building systems that can function despite uncertainty, systems that are flexible, systems that allow for adaptation, systems that reduce dependence on any single source of income or stability. When people begin shifting their focus from controlling the future to preparing for multiple possible outcomes, something interesting happens. The anxiety doesn't disappear instantly, but it becomes more manageable. It loses its edge, because the mind starts to feel equipped rather than exposed. And that shift changes the entire relationship with money. It moves from fear to awareness, from constant worry to strategic thinking. It becomes less about chasing a perfect sense of security and more about building resilience in an unpredictable environment. That's the quiet transformation many people are going through right now, whether they realize it or not. The financial world has changed, and with it, the emotional experience of money is changing too. So when you feel that slight tension in your chest while checking your bank account in the morning, it's not just stress, it's a signal that the old definitions of stability no longer fully apply. And the people who learn to interpret that signal correctly are the ones who begin building a different kind of financial life, one that isn't based on the illusion of perfect certainty, but on the reality of constant change. And here's the deeper realization that brings everything together. Financial anxiety in 2026 is not just a problem to be solved, it's information. Information about how the system is evolving, information about where stability is becoming harder to find, and information about where new forms of security need to be built. Because in a world where uncertainty is permanent, the real advantage doesn't belong to the person who feels the least anxiety. It belongs to the person who understands it, adapts to it, and builds a life that can move with it instead of being broken by it. If this video changed the way you see money, stress, and stability, then you're exactly where you need to be. This is Andrew Finance, where we break down the deeper realities behind modern wealth and the psychology shaping it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe because the rules of money are changing faster than ever before, and the more clearly you understand them, the more confidently you can navigate what comes next.